A quick Dvar Torah on the Parshas Vayeishev. The first episode, of course, in the Parsha is Yehuda and his brothers selling Yosef, taking his kesoines pasim, dipping it in blood, presenting it to Yaakov Avinu, and Yaakov is inconsolable. Right after that, in Perek Lamed Ches, the pasuk says, "Vayihi bo esahi vayered Yehuda me'es echad." On a simple level, the pasuk says, right after that episode, Yehuda moved away from his brothers. But it uses a lashon vayered, which means literally he went down. Rashi, citing Chazal, tells us that Yehuda went down in level. Because when the brothers saw what a debacle was made out of the story of Yosef, that Yaakov Avinu, the tzaddik Yaakov, was at home crying inconsolable, they realized what a mistake they had made. And they turned to Yehuda and they said, Yehuda, you are the Melech. You're in charge of us. And this was your idea to sell him. If you would have told us, let's not sell him, let's bring him back home and let bygones be bygones, we would have listened to you. So it's your fault that this happened. So we are relieving you of your position as king. And that's Pshat, says Rashi, Vayered Yehuda. Yehuda went down in level, because he started off as a king in the parsha before, and now he was an ex-king. The Imre Emes cites his brother, Reb Moshe Betzalel, Hashem Yimkaim Damoy, who says a cute chap, that the next pasuk, after it says that Yehuda went down from his brothers, it tells us that Yehuda got married to a young lady. Says Reb Moshe Betzalel, now we can understand why he got married immediately after the story of selling Yosef. Because he used to be the king of the Shvatim, and then the brothers fired him. Yehuda missed being a king. Therefore, we know there's another way to become a king. Nosson melech. A bridegroom is akin to being a king. So in order to get back that little sense of being a king, Yehuda got married in order to bring back the Malchus into his life. So that's a nice Sheva Brachas chap, a cute vod from Reb Moshe Betzalel. But perhaps we could take it a little deeper. That there's a very, very important reason why Yehuda got married at that point. Because in the last situation with the story with Yosef, Yehuda realized he had miscalculated. He had miscalculated how his decision would affect others. He didn't take into consideration every angle of how his father would react. And if he would have done so, Taka never would have sold Yosef and dipped his clothing in blood. He would never have done that to his father. His mistake was he didn't realize that his father was going to react that way. He didn't take into consideration all the possible reactions of someone else. So he had to go back to university to get a degree in caring about someone else's feelings. The quickest and most direct way for a person to get a master's or to even get a doctorate in that area is to get married. You take a person who used to be single. When a person is single, they care about one entity only, themselves. Echad. Echad. I'm single, I'm alone, and self-preservation kicks in immediately, and I worry about myself first and foremost. I do care about others, but not as much as myself. And that was a problem with why Yehuda sold Yosef, because he cared about himself more than he cared about his father. And if he would have considered how his father would react, he never would have done it. But when a person is single, they have no choice but to be a bundle of self-preservation and caring about themselves. But when a person gets married, there's a metamorphosis that takes place. We stop caring about ourselves and instead we care about our spouse. When one is single, one wakes up in the morning and we say, how can I have a good day? When I'm married, I wake up in the morning and I say, how can my spouse have an enjoyable day? We put our own needs to the side and we replace it with needs of someone else. And that is a very powerful way of learning, of doing things in life, considering how those things will affect other people and other people only, not myself. Being single, it means being echad. Echad, the gematria is 13. When a person gets married, they need to create an ahava, a level of love for the spouse. Love to the point I care about you more than I care about myself. Ahava is also 13. Because one has to drop the 13 of echad and replace it with a new 13, the 13 of ahava. And that's why we find the first thing that Yehuda did after the episode of Vayeishev is he got married. He realized, I did not take into account properly my father's feelings. I need to go back to school and learn it again. And the best school possible to learn how to care about someone else is the university known as marriage. Have a great Shabbos.